madness that my thoughts and words can unfouled be.
May 1st, 1899. But then, what if they could stand upright and walk as men? What if the bride were harnessed thus? Would they sing? Would they find their own God? I have seen these things, and I will tell you now, no, they will not. But they will happily accept fealty to a God thrust upon them, and worship it thus given. In this I realize they are no different to the masses. They are much the same as us. Once this irrevocable threshold has passed, I understood that we are shackled and must be set free. To free the man, we cut the man. In order to cross the great evolutionary time or line, it must first be painted upon the ground. August 22nd, 1899. In America, they talk of building their cities to the skies. To me, this seems folly, but perhaps it is simply a case of a nation founded without a history of its own. We walk upon our histories. They are compacted into the very room beneath our feet. The engineers we employed talked of this. They talked of how, when building the underground trains, they would often come across older tunnels crisscrossing the capital. What places lie buried beneath us? We are digging, excavating, and reappropriating what we find. At the center of the planet, my architect tells me there is a great iron ball. It is the egg of the world. Ay, Chihuahua. October 11th. 1899. We integrate the very latest knowledge of chemistry, using low levels of laudanum derivative in feed to subdue the product before the initiation of the process. This means that when we drag them from pulling pens onto the line, they are less likely to panic and damage machine components, other products, or themselves. This section of the belt is sheathed in rubber and kept well lit to maintain good spirits. And we actually have found that the intelligent placement of gramophones or simple acoustic amplification tubes around the line means we can use music to further see the product. We find Debussy particularly effective in this regard. September 28th, 1899. Imagine, they say, a machine one day that might think like a man, as if this is to be desired. One might almost boast of creating a man who breathes like a pig, men and women upon all fours, running carelessly, ejaculating their filthy little missives into the streets. Alleys and gutters running freely with the careless spill of their conjoinings. The air thick with the whimperings of dust, bodies streaked with their own emissions. We have created a world where man is so utterly debased he will spray his seeds over passers-by, and yet this is a condition baggage aspired in. This is not the machine we seek. Such an entity should be nothing less than a deity, and we would fall upon our knees and worship it. We shall not carve gods to bicker and fornicate. They will exist to clean the world and set us free. I reject Babbage, as I reject these men of government. Yet the pigs copulate in the gutters whilst they can. We shall scoop them up and ease their ascension soon enough. delivery schedule. How in blazes are we supposed to meet these damn schedules if even the basic equipment we are provided with simply will not perform its designated function? These cursed newfangled trucks will only run a fraction of the distance my nag managed before running out of stinking gasoline. The gaffer says it's fine and there's plenty of pumps to refill it, them outside the factory walls, but you end up dragging a blessed tank from the truck to the nearest one to refill it, and the one in the storeroom is empty again. I can't be turning the crank handle all day only to find the tank is empty. Well, Santa says enough for a night. Into my bed I go. It's not like anyone needs access to the breeding graveyard anyway. Harry, if you get this, I'll meet you in the Damson Templar for a jar.
Come on, Papa. Let's climb this one. I can see more pictures at the top. This way, Papa. Come and see. Will it hatch? Can we take it home?
Yes, my darlings. Of course we can take it home.
Your faith shackles your vision, Professor. It is an iron coffin that keeps you from grasping the future. We require a new deity, one of steam and the wheel, of magnetism and progress. The old god is nothing more than a lamed hog, spitting back offal at mankind.
They flock to us now where I once had to walk amongst them, bring salvation into their lives, now drawn by warmth in winter, by the food that Mandas distributes. My church is full, and my charges are saved. He walks amongst them, and they almost worship him. He will not allow them to work in his factories, claiming that the workforce are specially trained for the new machinery he uses, and that it would be irresponsible, nay, unethical, to risk such precious lives as he sees here. A changed man since Mexico. It is to be praised that in the face of such appalling tragedy, from the confines of his sick bed, as he often is chained to, he conducts one of the greatest and most benevolent charities in all of London. Not content with the rise to become the dominant food produce business in the land, he just distributes his goodwill, his wares, to the poor, and they congregate about his kingdom in gratitude. Twin candles, bent to the will of Central Saint, casting their light to the corners of the chapel. Father Jeremiah, I thought I could be trusted with the secret, but he is like all of the others. So the old priest has gone to the holding pens with his flock. He says he will enter our world with them, a shepherd indeed. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up! Where's Cat though? Oh, W Cat though. Discourage. Drives me crazy sometimes, but I still love her.
Listen, Papa. Hold the egg to your ear. You can hear the sea.
Oh shit. What examination is this? What rotten fruit? What be stitching apart? I doubt I will ever be found, yet I review this, scrawled into the Maraudorous half-light. Whilst my tormentor shuffles below, my fellow prisoners keen and squeal in the gloom, and where I wait for the knuckling upon my cage that signifies it is finally my turn to make a dark journey into the interior. I'm up here, you're down there. a nice stream. I'm gonna head out, see you there, and have fun. Thank you. I managed to outrun the pigman. Ain't that something? I managed to outrun a fucking pigman. Hello to all of you who are watching. Thanks for popping in.
Water in his shoes. Always the water, and the sparks of the embers of the wheels. It's too bony! It's too damn bony!
My soul shudders at what I have seen, but at least I have reached the main part of the factory. Not onwards, downwards to find those good words and them away like Moses. I will keep the words and get my little guns from this foul cradle.
These men, Professor, these so-called men of vision, they would shackle the masses to a wheel and turn it till their backs break. All for that opiate, the lure of profit. These fools who lackey them, these priests, these officials, this government, they make pigs of us all.
But what solution, my dear man? How to break a cycle? You cannot simply remove the promise of a better world for these unfortunates. In the workhouses, in the orphanages, the belief in heaven is surely the only succor one can find.
We do not need to wait. We can bring forth paradise now. We can speed the passion. With only a small sacrifice, we can hold the apocalypse. With just a small sacrifice, we can free our shackles and deliver them to paradise now.
Alrighty then. Do you guys think I can outsneak the pigman?
Hear me, Mandus. I am compromised. Our contacts must be brief and occasional. Beware the wretches who populate this compound. The way you seek is under the pistons. When you meet the saboteur, you will understand everything.
October 17th, 1899. Each compartment is ergonomically designed, with a feed-through at one end so the product naturally settles into a position ready for the stunning arms to connect to the skull. We use the natural static charge buildup by the friction of the cart against the belt to build an electrical charge, which is contained within glass vacuum canisters at the sides of the stunning arm mechanisms and delivered along the stun arms via copper cabling. We have observed that the artificial lightning contained within these canisters seems to become the product further. Post-stunning, the line tilts sharply to the vertical, the physics of which tips the stun product upwards to fall directly onto the hook of the breathing line. This hook passes normally through the haunch or thigh of the product, and from this point we dispense with the belt and instead instigate a channeled floor, which creates a funnel around blood and byproduct excretions to correct and run the fluid correction tanks. Okay. So... Alright. Here goes nothing. How I'll outrun him. April 30th, 1899. The crane arrived this morning and I had it delivered directly to the workshop. The body is remarkably preserved, although there is a subtle yet nauseating stench of damp and rot. It is humanoid in shape, but has suffered severe skeletal deformity. Remnants of leather straps encase the torso, which is deformed, with evidence of substantial muscle mass and displacement. It is difficult to ascertain whether the unfortunate is the recipient of some barbarous surgery, or was burned, deformed, and attempt to force his gnarled body into some semblance of humanity was made. What he is I cannot tell, but I smell the Yoruba upon him, and suspect my great uncle's presence in his curious condition. So it can be done. We can reshape the body into a tool, accelerate the processes of Mr. Darwin's evolution. But here my great uncle and I part company. He chose man as the subject of his experiments, but men are difficult to control and rotten with sentimentality. No, we require a new creature of our chattels, loyal, clever, strong, easily sated.
Find the entrance nearby. The children weep in the darkness, and the floodwaters continue to rise.
July 15th, 1899. In order to facilitate a simulation of tissue groups, a compound is required, but the cells will not bond. Disposal of non-bonded subjects must be immediate, using incineration or reverse continuous animation without harm. This is unpleasant. A simple compound of 1 part Brandenburg infusing vitae to 1 part organ monad disperol fluid is sufficient. This can be administered intravenously to subjects for reassembly to maintain bonding. The compound is unstable and highly reactive. Once in the body, the shooting lamp can be used to activate the compound. The outside of the body is highly corrosive. It can even destroy small quantities of metal. In some form of bizarre mixing device for chemical compounds. In a positively rich of valve fluids I've seen too often before, is clear compound, some volatile bastard of 2 composite ingredients. I should wager I would find them close by. Nah, bro, I'm tripping. Inflamed it is, burning it does. Breathing from each hole, fore and aft, leaking down my legs, blood and excrement. My lungs are in my vomit. I pass clots of my organs now into the filthy stone. Drink this, he says. And I did drink it. I did do that. Because of the changes, they ripple inner me. My teeth sneeze out and scatter like mice in the dark. I cannot find them all. Gather what I can. Push them back into my gray gums with my fingers, and the nails are all weepy and falling out. Drink it, he says. It'll help the running of the fever. Because not us all can take the change. On the other table, a beast under a blanket. I never wanted to see under that. And he drank it too. He passed it under the blanket. I heard it drink. Dear God Almighty, how can a man shit so much blood and still live? Beats me.
It fell onto his hands and they eroded in front of me. To stumps. To stumps. Next time we will use an equal mix of infusion vitae and orgone disperser. No, just take him out. You can dump him in the river for all I care.
August 20th, 1899. Took delivery of another hatch of imbeciles today. They are the surest specimens of humanity I have ever seen. No one asks where they go to. The authorities of Bedlam are simply happy to reduce the overcrowding in the teeming, stinking balls. We measure their skulls, check their teeth. We give them laudanum to pacify them. They were in line, livestock, dull brown eyes, and filthy skin. Many told themselves as they wait. Into the manipulator they file in silence. I hear the hissing of gas. I hear the dull groaning as teeth are removed, as bones are reset. I hear the pig screaming. We have removed all the mirrors. After the process, it is their reflections that trouble them the most. Afterwards, when they sleep, I walk amongst them, my children. I whisper to their dreams, "You are my children now. I have children once again, and your forms imperfect will be the engines to make my own blood flow again."
Over there, place it in the corner. What? You think I speak Prussian? Do I look like an inbred hog, sir? Who gives a damn what it contains? Just set it down carefully and leave me be.
Oh, fuck!
The lift has been sabotaged. You will have to find another way to the tunnels. Take care in this place, Mandus. It is the crucible of the evil that stalks these corridors.
August 4th, 1898. Muir experiments with Compound X. Took the drug and injected it with strychnine. After the expected convulsions and spasming, it died just after midnight. I immersed the body in a large tank of Compound X and introduced an alternating current via induction coil for a period of 3.5 minutes. Partial return was induced. However, damage incurred prior to death was retained upon revival, meaning the dog continued in the acute state of strychnine poisoning until I put a bullet in his skull. But drowning? Perhaps, yes. It is, after all, known to be the kindest of suicides. If one were to drown, replacing the fluid in the lung with Compound X should theoretically be perfectly possible as a revival method. I don't have the thing yet. October 22nd, 1899. Naturally once bred, the product must be scalded, dehaired, and scraped ready for gambroing and evisceration. For this, we pass them through the steam reservoir, which is kept at a constant temperature by passing excess high pressure venting from the engines via the boiler and series of large copper pipes into a stone chamber just below the workhouse. At the center of the machine, there is a component that must be kept at a consistently low temperature, which controls operations of the processing of products throughout the system. Alongside this, refrigeration is the utmost importance in retaining the product's quality, and this also requires heat to be removed from certain areas of the machine. Two problems are therefore combined into a single solution: the removal of heat from some areas and the requirements for increased heat in others. Conducting panels through heat using the principles of convection regulated by the boiler and sending freezing air along one set of pipes in one direction and superheated vapors in another.
Isn't it dangerous allowing this filthy discharge to collect so close to the core?
We can use the flow to drive the turbines. There will always be a torrent of excreta flooding through these tunnels. We can use this to supplement the steam production and ensure constancy.
God, the stench! This fecal matter is the true product of the age.
Oh, that dude's back. August 1st, 1899. Several of the older forms have breached the containment area and escaped into the sewers. They remind me of my limitations. There is no Chelm, and I am no Eliyahu. At least not quite yet. It is the heat generated from keeping the door between open, and that is to blame. We cannot simply pack them about with coolant as we do the center where the doorway is. The other versions are kept safe by the freezing temperature of those towers. Up here, where the air is hot and fetid, and they become overheated, and their duality tears them asunder. As the other place flies from their cells and their vitae splinters. They live sporadically, torn from one world to another and back again in violent, unpredictable bursts. For a few seconds, they are creatures of this world. Then they are torn away and cease to have physical form. These vicious ripping back and forth between worlds has driven them quite insane. I have ordered the affected areas sealed. I will not allow my loyal workers to enter. These are damned places now. The abode of failed experiments, ghosts of fear and spite. How is everybody? All 32 of you, how are ya?
Fast, Amandus. Trade the waters and open the way to the bilge pumps. We are waiting for you.
Got ya, sucker. And I said, look, my darlings, February 17th, 1899. Can you see it? And they said, yes, Daddy. Yes, we see it. A tall weathered cap of steep-sided pyramid. So like those of Egypt, stones flying away from the summit, vines growing from intertwining the stucco serpents that thrive about the steps. A palpable sense of stillness, a weight of forgotten, and this here, this is where the king sat, and this is where the priest lived. This is the house of the dead, and here, where the sun strikes, this is where they threw the hearts that were not consumed. No, my darlings, they almost certainly were not savages. You see, they believed that the sky could fall on their heads, and they truly, truly believed that the offering really was the only way of stopping this from happening. Perhaps, my darling, perhaps they were mistaken altogether. Or perhaps their tragedy was they could simply not spill blood enough to prevent the sky from falling in the palm. Oh, right there. Oh, shit. Yo. Yo. 43 of you watching, how are ya? So, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. I'll see you guys in the next one.